Good evening watch friends and welcome to the DutchWatchChannel. Today we are going to look at a watch that I have in my collection now for more than a year. I'm talking about the Nomos Club Sport 42 Neomatik in blue. It is one of my favorite watches because of the unique design, the dial color and just the overall look of the watch. But is it better than, let's say, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual or the Datejust? Before we are going to check this out, first a quick wrist check. Today I am wearing the Studio Underdog, the Watermelon Bicompax chronograph from my son Max, and it's absolutely stunning. I love the colors, I love the leather strap, and just the overall watch. It's very cool and unique. But without further ado, let's dive into the review, starting with a little bit of history about the beautiful brand Nomos. In the Ore Mountains of Germany there is a small town world famous for its watches, Glashütte. This beautiful town is known as the birthplace of the German watchmaking industry. Only the finest watches are made in this small German town. Now a law protects their geographical origin, just like with Swiss made. By law the watches are now on par with the famous Swiss brands, or if you will with Champagne and Prosciutto di Parma. In Glashütte some of the best watches are made for more than 175 years now. Here you can find many independent German watch brands, 9 in total, like for example A. Lange & Son, Müller Glashütte, one of my favorite, especially with the dive watches, and Glashütte Original, and of course Nomos. Nomos are known as a young, small and independent brand that was founded in 1990 by Roland Swertner. Leading the company together with the founder Roland Swertner are the partners Uwe Arendt, CEO of the watchmaking company, and Judith Borowski, head of branding and design. Around 250 employees work for Nomos Glashütte. The brand was quickly known for their unique designs, which took influence from the Bauhaus purist style, but in their own colorful way. A Nomos watch is best described as clean and with a modernist aesthetic. When Nomos started in the 90s, their mainly used movement for their watches was the ETA Perseus 7001, which was a hand-wound movement. In 2005, Nomos reached a milestone with the release of the Tango Mat, which was their first movement to be produced entirely in-house. And in 2014, Nomos reached another milestone by unveiling its own in-house escapement known as the Nomos swing system. Of course, this didn't happen all at once, and the new swing system had been in development since 2007. Nomos started a partnership with the Technical University of Dresden, and the complete investment was a mind-blowing 12 million euros for this project. It was quite a remarkable achievement, and this strive for independence as a watch company, plus the effort to create unique and colorful modernist designs with innovative movements, are undoubtedly some of the main reasons why Nomos is still such a popular and loved brand as we know it today. Nomos is currently producing 11 different calibers in-house in Glashütte, and the collection consists of 13 model families with around 80 versions of mechanical timepieces in the price range of between roughly 1,000 and 5,000 euros. When I saw the Club Sport 42 model in black and blue, I was falling for it. The black version had a very finely textured sunray finish which go from black to a more brownish color, which matches the gold lettering on the dial very well. But I choose the blue dial because for me it was a more lively looking color. A much heard complaint are the long locks that most of the Nomos watches have. But I must say that for my 6.7 inch wrist it wasn't an issue, and it looked very good without any weird overhang on the wrist. But this being said, the watch do wear large and looks like a big boy with its slim bezel and 42mm of pretty much all dial. But for me it's perfectly fine that this watch is all dial, because I feel that that's the strong point and the main attraction here. So what kind of a watch do we have here? Well, looking at the watch we see a beautifully fully polished stainless steel case. But when I checked the water resistance on the dial, I saw a whopping 1000 feet, which put some real dive watches ashamed. And with a case thickness of just over 10mm, this makes it even more an impressive feature because it's a very thin watch. So is it a diver or a go anywhere do anything watch, or even a dress watch with its thin case profile and high polished case? After more than a year of wearing this watch, I still don't know, but for me it's just all very Nomos. Design identity is an element that I find important in watches. You can recognize the looks of any Nomos from miles away. And one of the details that comes with this as a trade-off for some are the long locks. But this is also a detail that's part of the Nomos DNA, which gives these watches its own identity. This could make the watch too big for some wrists, and I get that. So yeah, this watch is definitely not going to be wearing small, but so is the Panerai. It's just part of the design philosophy, and you need to see in person if it could work for your wrist and personal taste or not. And if this doesn't work for your wrist, then the solution could also be found in the smaller club models, which also have an excellent water resistance and also offers really sharp and colorful dials. Now Nomos is offering two steel bracelet choices for the Club Sport 42. The first one is the more sporty bracelet, the Club Sport, which is your typical Oyster style bracelet with a brushed outer and polished center links. This bracelet does not taper much, but wears very comfortable. It has a fully polished clasp with a twin button trigger release system, and it has a nice compact design and 3 micro adjustment holes. What's very clever on both steel bracelets is the quick release system and the easy adjustment system, where you just need to push 2 little pins to the inside so you can adjust the length of the bracelet. But there are some downsides for me to this bracelet. It would have been nice to see some screw pins here instead of a pin and a collar system. But at least Nomos will provide you the proper tools with the watch, so you can size it to your own wrist size. What also stood out were the tolerances of this particular bracelet. This could have been better at the end links and the bracelet overall. It is just a little too loose for my liking, where everything else is done so well on this watch in terms of finishing and tolerances. The second choice is my favorite, and this is the Bracelet Sport. No taper here and therefore 20mm wide, but it suits the bigger case of the design of this watch. This bracelet is fully brushed, which gives a nice contrast with the polished case. Sometimes it just looks like a solid metal bar when keeping it straight. but it bends beautifully over the wrist and it has a nice light play when it catches the sunlight. I found this bracelet a perfect fit for this watch because it keeps the balance between sporty and elegance. If we then flip the watch over, we find a domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating inside and out, which should make sure that the legibility outside is crystal clear and without any distortions. But my experience is that the crystal does give some reflections of the surroundings in the glass, but despite this I had no issues or whatsoever with the legibility of the dial. The Club Sport 42 has a vibrant galvanized dial which is quite striking because of the fine lines that plays with the light beautifully. It doesn't have a standout feature, but it is just all done so well here, and that's what keeps attracting me to look at this dial. The color combinations of this particular model are not as bold like some of the other offerings from Nomos, but here we find a very attractive combination of vibrant blue colors with subtle gold details. The oversized Arabic numerals appear every 2 hours minus the 6 with baton indices in between in a contrasty white color made out of superluminova. At the 6 o'clock position we find a recessed seconds subdial with a contrasting snail pattern. A minute track spans the outermost parameter and the hour and minute ends are filled with superluminova and makes the legibility great. The dial just has a very balanced and attractive appearance in my opinion. The sword style hour and minute hands are very well finished, they are legible, large and reach out all the way to the outer edge of the dial. Legibility in low light situation is solved with a rhodium plating treatment on the hands. This gives the hands a unique silvery white color and it reflects the light perfectly. In a way it reminds me of some of the Grand Seiko watches, where the hands are finished with Zaratsu polishing, which gives a similar effect in low light conditions. A different solution to solve the same problem. The rhodium plating really makes a difference with legibility in low light conditions when comparing this to some of my other watches. And besides this, it just looks great. On the caseback of the watch we find a see-through caseback with a sapphire crystal. Here we can see the star of the show in the form of a beautifully in-house built automatic caliber, the DUW6101. We can see some more information engraved like the water resistance and the model reference. You will also have the option to let Nomos engrave your customized message on the caseback of your watch, which is a nice touch. And this Nomos caliber is lavishly polished, decorated and built in typical glashütte fashion with a 3/4 plate design. Looking more into the detail of the movement, we can see embossed and gold plated engravings on the rotor, the 3/4 plate with glashütte ribbing, rhodium plated movement surfaces with glashütte ribbing as well, tempered blue screws, tempered blue balance spring and some Nomos pelage. And the whole caliber is just 3.6 mm high, which is very impressive and awesome to look at. The movement is regulated in 6 positions, has a power reserve of 42 hours and should be accurate within the minus to +6 seconds a day, because this movement is adjusted according to chronometer standards. And after more than a year of wearing this watch, I can confirm this with a deviation of just +3 seconds of this watch. The power reserve is maybe not setting any new market standards, but this movement does come with some practical tricks under its sleeve. For example, the movement was reconstructed to integrate the date, and the date ring is therefore set around the complete movement and as a result on the dial as well. This caliber features an innovative quick change and bidirectional date mechanism that allows you to safely set the date both forward and backwards. Very practical in daily life and when wearing this watch in rotation of other watches. And this can be done safely because it also has a special mechanism which prevents you from changing the date in the danger zone, which normally is between approximately 10 PM and 2 AM. But with Nomos, even the danger zone was brought back to just 90 minutes. This movement also features an integrated shock protection system to ensure accurate timekeeping at all times. In my opinion, this is a powerhouse of a movement which is richly decorated for the price point of around 3,000 euros. And when operating the crown, we receive an excellent and smooth haptic feedback when winding the movement, or when setting the date or time. So let's see how the movement and the winding action sounds. What emerges as a nifty and colorful solution is a bright red ring which is on the stem of the signed crown. So if you unscrew the crown, you can literally see that it's unscrewed, which is a warning to screw it in before you can take the refreshing dive into the water. It's a great little detail which shows that Nomos really goes the extra mile. With the Lume I had high expectations, and I must say that I do like the bright blue color of the Superluminova in the dark, and yeah, it's very reactive and bright, but there's a difference in potency between the numerals and the hands. The hands are not as potent and glow not as long as the numerals, but it's definitely not bad. So let's switch the lights off and let's take a look. Now to summarize all the details and sizes of the watch, let's take a quick look at an overview of the specifications. So now the answer to the question if the Nomos is the best alternative for a Rolex Oyster Perpetual or a Rolex Datejust. For me, absolutely. The quality is definitely there. It offers a fantastic in-house movement which is visible in the case back in all its glory. The overall fit and feel is very good, and the watch comes from a great German brand. The only point where I do feel that this Nomos is maybe lacking behind is with the Club Sport bracelet. The finishing is very good and the fit is comfortable, but the bracelet would be much better if it would have a screw pin system instead of a pin and a collar system. Also, the quick adjustment system is not the most practical one. Of course, great that it's there, but in comparison with a glide lock system, yeah, it's not the most practical one. But this being said, I can't think of a better alternative for, let's say, a Rolex OP or DJ than the offerings from Nomos, especially with the Club Sport 37 and 42 models. Oh, and you can just buy these watches as well at the dealer or online from Nomos directly. Try that with a Rolex. And the price is much less than a Rolex Oyster Perpetual or a Datejust, just with over 3,300 euros. Still a lot of money of course, but much less than the offerings from Rolex. And for the money you really get a lot of value here. What you will get is a colorful and sharp looking watch with a great movement under the open caseback and sublime finishing to top it all off. Personally, I'm a big fan of the minimalistic but contemporary design of the Club Sport. It makes it unmistakably a Nomos watch, but with some sporty DNA infused to this big and legible dial. And the 1000 feet of water resistance is just great to have on this watch as well. It gave me the confidence to wear it at any activity or moment, perfect at the pool during the holidays, perfect to wear to a business meeting under a suit and perfect to wear during sporty activities. After more of a year of owning this Nomos, it still gives me a smile every time I put the watch on my wrist. And that, my friends, is the most important of all. It should evoke some positive feelings when you wear it, look or stare at it. But please let me know what you guys think. Do you agree or not? Or do you feel that there are other or better alternatives available? And what would you like to see in the future from Nomos? Please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you think. And also give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's important, to let the channel grow so I can bring you more videos like these. Thanks again for watching and I will see you all on the next one. Take care en een hele fijne avond.